Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Eros in Aries in a natal chart. Now, Eros in Aries, Eros in astrology could be about a very powerful sexual urge and what we can be attracted to very strongly on a sexual level. Now, given that this is an Aries, this could be a person that might have a very powerful, near unconquerable attraction to somebody that may be very aggressive, person that exhibits a lot of assertive qualities, somebody that's very self-reliant and independent, but yet very energetic, a person that has tremendous courage, valor, and fortitude, a person that has virtually no physical fear, a person might have a very strong sexual attraction to someone very forceful, and just a very fiery temperament as well. A person that can speak their mind, can be very outspoken, very spontaneous, can do things on the fly, so to speak. A person with a sense of adventure. And also a person that might be very action and activity oriented. Stagnation may be an anathema to this person as far as that prospective sexual partner may go, that this person may be strongly attracted to. But remember, when we're talking about Eros in astrology, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be like really astrologically compatible with this person, but it could be somebody that you just have a very strong sexual attraction for, and it's just somebody that you might just find it might be someone where it's at a point where you can't resist him or her as far as on a sexual level. So anyway, and also too, when we're talking about this, I mean, if this is conjunct that person's, let's say, if you're this could be a person that might be the person that you might have that very prodigious sexual attraction for. It may be somebody with an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply someone that embodies Aries characteristics. Of course, if it's the ascendant, it could be on the physical level, but if it's the moon, then it could be more on an unconscious or subconscious level. The sun could be just that basic character, and maybe the physical element to some degree, because the sun can be connected it could be connected with the physical body, even though the ascendant dominates the appearance. If the sun and the ascendant are in the same sign, then it could be both, but especially this is really can be indicated by, I mean, as far as the conjunction aspects goes, that's where the sexual connection can be really erotic connection can be really intensified. Now, Eros in astrology can also be associated with very prodigious creative energy and ability. Now, given that we're talking about the zodiac sign Aries, this may be done perhaps through welding, doing things. It could be constructive outlets with fire, carpentry. It could be through the work of metals. It could be somebody that works like in a metal shop and creates these objects that are, very, of course, could be very creative. It could be through gun designing, because Aries can be associated with firearms. It might even be on some sports level. I mean, say if somebody, has this. Like in one of the sports houses, I would say the 5th or the 9th, it could be somebody that uses a lot of creativity in something where, well, it doesn't have to be in a sports house necessarily, because the Aries can be associated with sports, but it could be more accentuated if it is in a sports house. If it falls in the 5th house or even the 9th house, I would say this could be where this person might really show very strong creativity on a sports, doing something sports related. So anyway, and if it's in the 7th, 7th is competition. It can be very strong. It could add a little competitive zeal to the energy. Now, it also could be where somebody might show some creative energy in something that could be combat related. Say if this falls in the 5th house or the 9th house, it could be through combat sports, like something with karate or boxing or wrestling. It could be somebody that has these ingenious moves, like how Michael Jordan would. I don't know if he has Eros in Aries, but I'm just pointing him out as an example as far as somebody that actually showed a lot of ingenuity on the basketball court, but a lot of that was attributed to his strong Aquarius influence in his chart, I think. So anyway, it could also be somebody that might show tremendous creativity in helmet design, something for the head. The Aries can be associated with the headwear. Somebody that shows creativity through the use of sharp tools. It could be like, for example, using an X-Acto knife or scissors. I mean, I could remember taking some arts class back in the 7th grade or something, and I remember using an X-Acto knife to carve out some kind of image, and then I would press it onto some paint, and I could create an image by doing so. I mean, that's just like a very primitive example, of course, and that was back in the what I refer to as the prehensile days. Now, where Eros is in astrology can also be connected with, surprisingly, what might actually be rebuffed by, what could actually be a turnoff, as in contrast to being turned on. I mean, this could be, given that this is an Aries, if you're turned off by this Aries-like energy, it could be the negative characteristics associated with the sign, such as people that might be overly abrasive, pushy, overly aggressive, people that might want to push you too far, too quickly to do certain things. If your chart is more about procrastination, say you have a lot of a strong Cancerian or Piscean influence, you might be a little bit rebuffed by this energy. And a lot of this, whether you're really more infatuated with this kind of energy or you're more rebuffed, a lot of that I would say would be predicated independent on the other elements in your chart as to whether you could be where you feel more compatible with this energy or not. Now, you may also be strongly be rebuffed and even repudiate this energy that might be rather impatient, or a person that might be overly forceful, or has that me first philosophy, a person that might be overly fiery or hurried. And it can, these are, I mean, because it could really seems like this is kind of an extreme type of position where it could go either way. Or when we're talking about Eros in astrology, the asteroid Eros can be an asteroid of extremism, I would say. Now, also, Eros in astrology can be associated with what one may have a very powerful exuberance or enthusiasm for, a very strong passion for. Now, given this is Aries, it could be for combative sports like karate or wrestling or boxing or judo, as an example. It could be by playing military games, as an example. Let's say you have this in the 5th house of games. This could be somebody that might have a very strong love and unbridled passion for playing military board games or computer games like that game of Warcraft or whatever that is. It could be somebody that really is enamored with welding or even firefighting in some cases. Aries energy can always be willing to conquer the fire, so to speak. If you have this, say, in the 12th house, this could be somebody that might excel and flourish as a volunteer fireman, or even the 11th house, because the 11th house can be associated with the zodiac sign Aquarius and can be associated with things of a humanitarian and selfless nature. Now, another thing too, or it could even be somebody that might really have strong enjoyment for the designing of headwear or helmets, as an example. Now, also, aspects to this point can be important as well, as of course that could impact and influence the delineation and interpretation. Now, given that this is, this is Aries, let's say that somebody has this Eros in Aries in their natal chart and it makes a sextile or trine to their natal Jupiter. Well, this could be be more fortuitous for doing something that you have a passion or exuberance for, that could be Aries related, and give added luck and prosperity to it, and that creative ability that may be associated with the Eros and Aries placement. Now, let's say if this makes an adverse aspect to the Saturn, let's say somebody has this in Saturn opposite or even square their Eros in their natal chart. This could be where a father or an authority figure might be very strongly adversarial toward what you really have that exuberance and enthusiasm for, whether it might be combat sports or military games, firefighting, or what have you, something that could be associated uh, with this. It could even be something where, it might even pursue law enforcement in some cases. Say if this falls in one of the money houses, especially the second, sixth, or 10th, that could really give a stronger propensity for doing something that you might have Aries relay, that you might have a passion or exuberance for, and be making money in the process as well, or even if it conjuncts Venus, or even a sextile or trine to your natal Venus. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.